Hi, I just thought I'd record you a little video to show you what the tiny little new thing is that we're doing today. We already know how to compose functions. We can do function composition. We already know how to simplify those expressions once we've composed them. The only new thing is to tell whether the functions are inverse of each other down at the bottom. And the way we know that is if I find f of g of x, and then I find g of f of x, and they are the exact same answer, then I have inverse functions. That means that g of x is the inverse of f of x. So if the answers are the same, then g of x is the inverse of f of x. That's the rule. You can pause the video and write that down if that helps you. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to find both of these and see if they're the same, which you already do know how to do. So I'm going to find f of g of x. Okay. And f of g of x is, let's see, I'm going to do it this way. G of x is cube root of x plus 1 minus 7. Okay, and f of x goes around that. So f of x is x plus 7 cubed minus 1. So what we've done here, if we've taken all of this, let's make that the right color. We've taken all of this and we've just put it inside right there. We just stuffed that all in there in the place of x. Okay? So to simplify this, we're going to go to, let's see, this becomes cube root x plus 1. This right here equals 0. So it's gone. Okay? And we know that a cube root, and a cube cancel each other out. So now we have x plus 1 left, and we know that equals x. Okay? So there's my answer. X. Now we're going to find g of f of x. Okay? So f of x again was x plus 7 cubed minus 1, and we're going to stick all that inside g of x, which is cube root, all that is x, plus 1 minus 7. So we took f of x and we stuffed it inside g of x. Okay? Well, yeah. We took it and we stuck it right there where the x is. Alright? I hope this is clear. And then we have to simplify, which we know how to do. Again, that's 0. Cube root of x plus 3 cubed minus 7. Again, we know that the cube root and the cube cancel each other out. So what is left is x plus 3. Okay. I'm not going to re-record this whole thing over again, but you guys are probably yelling at the screen right now, right? Because that's not a 3. That's a 7. And if we were in person, you'd have already caught me. Sorry about that. It was obviously you knew that I just miscopied that 7 as a 3. Okay, so that's x plus 7 minus 7, which is x. Okay, so I solved the first one, and it equaled x, and then I solved the second one, and it equaled x. So they equaled the same thing. So are they inverses of each other? Yes, they are inverses. Or g of x is the inverse of f of x. Okay, I hope that helps. I'm going to give you one more example. Okay, here are two more functions, g of x and h of x. So I'm going to first find g of h of x. Okay. H of x is 5 times the quantity x minus 8. G of x is x plus 8 divided by 5. So this is g of x and h of x got stuck inside it right there. Okay. Now to simplify it, let's do distributive property. That's 5x minus 40 plus 8 divided by 5, which is the same as 5x. There's plus 8, I don't know what happened there. 5x minus 32 divided by 5, which is x minus 32 over 5. Okay, now let's find h of g of x. So we're going to take h of x, and we're going to stuff g of x inside of it, right there where the x is. So g of x is x plus 8 over 5, and we're going to put that right where our x is in h. So that is 5 times x minus 8. Five times x minus 8. So we're just taking that x and we're sticking it in there into our function. Okay, and then we just have to simplify it. So let's see. Let's use distributive property again. So 5 times this whole thing. Let me just write it out so it's clear. 5 times this whole thing minus 5 times that, which is 8. Okay, so this is just me writing out distributive property so it's clear. Alright, that becomes x plus 8, and that becomes minus 40. So this becomes x minus 32. So are these the same answer? Well, no, obviously they're not. X minus 32 fifths is not the same answer as x minus 32. So h of x is not the inverse of g of x. Okay, hopefully that's helpful for you. Please reach out via Remind or Google Classroom or email if you have more questions or need more help. Have a good Tuesday.